Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be going over this little bugger, which I have to say has got to be the best micro class 65mm tiny whoop that I've ever had. And I'll explain why. So here you have it. It's got built-in OSD. Take it apart here so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. I've only had one gripe, and that's probably got to be the way that the camera is set up here. But without it, and it's the only one of its kind right now that has built-in OSD, unless you have this like external board, which are pretty big and clumpy. Weighs a little bit more than this, that's for sure. And when you come into the tiny whoop world, it all comes down to weight, because you start adding on carbon fiber or aluminum, and the added on weight is will take effect and stuff, especially with these little micro motors. And I believe it's a 75 kV motors, 7500 kV motors. So here's your camera. I've had to solder this point on a couple times because it took a couple knocks into a wall, and the camera went back a little bit, and it made my VTX inside my Fat Sharks go a little corrupt. So I had to bend it back. That's the only gripe that I have. Dipole antenna. As you can see, I melted a little hole right there so you can stick the camera right through there, and it works out great. What you're going to want to do is bind this. It's pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to push on the bind button, plug in your 1S LiPo battery, and put this in bind mode before you put your Tyrannus, Flysky, or whatever in bind mode. But you want to put this in bind mode first and then this. I've had no problems. I have a Flysky version of this. Actually, two Flysky versions, and this is the Tyrannus FRSKY version right here. Like I said, I had no problems. The only difference between the Flysky and the FRSKY is the Flysky actually has another board, probably, so it can bind to the Flysky protocol. It's just an extra little adapter to do that with. But this camera's where it's at. You got your video in, video out right there, and your power, negative and positive, right there. Something that you need to realize is that this is new to me. When you pull this up and off, there's an actual two connectors right here on the side that plugs into this little port. So if you're having problems with your VTX, I've had this thing up a little bit, a couple knocks, and it's up a little bit, so the connection was weak on there. So what you do is you just make sure that it's plugged into the board. I'm not going to take that apart, just take my word for it. But you plug it in there, and you plug in the video in, video out. This is not a positive and negative for your the power up the whole thing. There's actually 4 connections going on here. Positive, negative, which powers it there, and video in, video out, like I said. This isn't my favorite dipole antennas, but you know, I have no problems with it. It seems to work a little bit fine. And I made it stick up a little bit just by putting a hole right there. Just stick it through the hole. So we're going to go into Betaflight, and I'll show you how to connect into there, and what settings, whatnot that you want. Go into Google Chrome, and then just type in under the search bar Betaflight configurator, and then go into the Google's thing and scroll down to Betaflight configurator. Click go, and you come up to the screen, and it says launch app. Plug in your quad. There we go. Alright, hit connect. And here you are. I've already adjusted my accelerometer. You might want to do that. PID tunes. Everything's already set up in here. Ports. Ports are good. Configuration. I need tuning. All your stuff here. Receiver. Just do a test here and see if it's on. And there you have it, already connected. Here's where you want to go into OSV. All this stuff right here is going to be on. What you want to do is switch it off. Go to, you got main battery voltage on there. Also what you want is average cell voltage. Turn those on. Click save. I will show you some video footage through my Fat Sharks goggles on how exactly this thing just performs. I love it. This thing is fun. I got my 2 older kids the same thing. I got them their own setup. That way we can all fly around the house and have fun. So I hope you enjoy. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and hasta luego. We'll see you next time.